All right, welcome to another episode of Let's Go Brandon Green. Today on the show, we've got Lynne Wadsworth from Florida, and she is a holistic health coach, predominantly for middle-aged women, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, and she works out of Holistic Health and Wellness. So, Lynne, how did you get into this thing? Because a lot of people need help these days, and yeah,
They do. Most of it really because of my own health situations. Like many health coaches, you have an issue, so you figure out what's the best way. So I had daily migraines. I had issues with autoimmune disease, with high blood pressure and cholesterol, and I just decided enough was enough. So I went to college to learn more about nutrition and the holistic lifestyle so that I could help me. And then, of course, that steamrolled into helping other people because I learned so much.
right. So, how old were you when you had all these issues?
Well, I started with migraines when I was 21. By the time I was in my 30s, I'd had multiple surgeries, but I didn't have problems with high blood pressure and high cholesterol until my late 40s, early 50s. And some of that is a gene thing. It's hereditary. Migraines are hereditary for me on both sides of my family. But I was determined I didn't want to be taking blood pressure medication and cholesterol medication. So,
right. So, do you still have migraines?
They went from every day. So I have them a couple of times a month, usually when our weather changes here in Florida and the barometric pressure changes, then I will. Or if I have not been careful with what I'm eating.
And do you get like heaps of neurological issues with them, or?
No, I don't anymore. In fact, it used to be that, people could tell when they were getting migraines. You'd get the lights flashing and fuzzy
Crazy
head.
Stuff.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And I don't always get that now. Sometimes just bam, there it is.
Okay, more like a pain or something, like an ache or.
Yeah, well, no, it's an intense pain. Definitely an intense pain, because my husband likes to equate it to a bad headache, but it really isn't. A migraine is like a beast unto itself. Very, very debilitating, puts you out of work. I've known people that would be out of work for days at a time with them.
Yeah. I remember my friend telling me about 10 years ago, I have to go and lock myself in a dark room. It feels like a ice pick stabbing at me or something. I'm like, what the hell? How do you not think you're having a stroke or something all the time, or something blew up in your head?
That's a fair question. I think it's just experience that tells you that, because when you have migraines to begin with, people don't really know for sure, and there's no way of. So you can do an MRI, but all it does is rule out everything else. It doesn't tell you that you've got migraines. So it's really on your history and with the symptoms that you have that people figure out, oh, well, it's nothing else. So, yeah, you just got migraines.
Yeah, all right. And you said you're off blood pressure pills.
I was for quite a while. But with a lot of things hereditary, even though I eat healthy and I live a healthy lifestyle, my hereditary genes got the best of me, so I'm back on blood pressure medication, but keep it very well managed.
Mm-hmm. So what would happen if you didn't take these blood pressure pills?
I really don't know. I would have very, very high blood pressure. And of course, high blood pressure can lead to stroke, heart disease.
Yeah.
And
so you'd be symptomatic. So you'd feel like dizzy, and it almost feels like you're just a blob, doesn't it?
A blob. Yeah, it's a fair assessment. And a headache, sometimes if blood pressure's high, right at the top of your head can start pounding, or you feel like your head's heated up.
Yeah.
Very weird feeling.
Okay, fair enough. And what is your blood pressure to get at for you to get on the pills over there? Do they recommend?
So they've changed over the last few years. It used to be that a perfect blood pressure would be 120/80, but now they have changed it to about 130 to 140 over anything up to 90, as long as you don't get above 90.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which kind of blows my mind, because I don't see what the difference is. If your blood pressure gets that high, you feel pretty crappy.
Oh, even at 140?
Yes.
Oh. See, I can be 160 and not know it, you know.
Not know it.
Yeah. So, yeah, wow. So that's why, it quite fascinates me. Blood pressure moves up and down all the time, and you can be high and not know it. But then I've sat in the hospital after having too much. One antibiotic just made me sit at 190, 110 for like hours, and I was just like, I remember just waiting to die. I was like, and then they gave me a little pill, and then within like 15 minutes, it's like pressure got released, and I was like back to normal or something. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because my husband's has been really high, to where it's been like 200 over 160, 170.
Wow.
And he had to be hospitalized, and they give them medications to bring down that blood pressure.
Right. That number was at second number was at like 160 or something.
It was at least 160. It was probably a lot higher than that, because it was several years ago.
Yeah.
It's really not something you want to mess around with. If you've got high blood pressure, you definitely want to get it under control, whether you start first with your diet and changing your lifestyle to see if that works, which often over here doctors will do. But if it's over a certain amount and it's not moving at all, they'll put you on meds. They have to
put on the pills, yeah. Fair enough. So you had a bit of an issue with it earlier, and then fix your lifestyle up, and then that changed it a bit. But then obviously your age just gets everyone. Yeah,
it certainly does. Getting older really is not fun.
Yeah, I know about that. So and then you said you had these problems, and then you went to school.
Right. So I went.
How old were you when you went to?
I was actually in my 50s. I'd got some college, but this was specifically a school for nutrition and for dietary information. So I could not find anywhere to go that really taught me what I wanted until I found this place in New York. So it's called the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. So they teach you all about a holistic lifestyle and how to have that well-rounded, healthy lifestyle that is not about dieting. So I had to get out of this diet, what I call a diet mentality, because I had dieted most of my life. I was a yo-yo dieter. And so, foods were bad or foods were good. Well, you have to get out of that mentality so that you can learn that it's really about moderation in your life. There's nothing wrong with me going out and having my dessert. There's nothing wrong with me going out and having my glass of wine. It's really about moderation and how you moderate your lifestyle.
Yeah. Okay. And so how long were you at this school for doing this program?
It was an intensive year program.
Yeah.
And during that time, gosh, it was more than a full-time thing.
Yeah.
And during that time, you had constant exams. And then you got a chance to do kind of, in the medical field, I guess they'd call it clinical work with clients so that you could practice on them. It was all done online. I went online. It had just recently gone to an online program. It used to just be in person in New York. So, it was very handy having Zoom to be able to talk to potential clients and people that you could kind of practice on.
Yeah. Okay. And then how long have you been practicing with people, with clients?
About 9 years.
9 years now, right? And because you've got a lot of experience, and you actually came to out of a place where you got your education after life experience, where people usually get their education before they go through things like menopause, which is really big. So you would have been doing school at the same time with women who were 20 learning about menopause. Oh, yeah. But you've actually experienced it, and then you're reading about it.
So I'd been to college when I was younger, and when I was in England, I'd been to business college. But, this was a whole different thing. And it, of course, is never as easy as you get older trying to remember everything.
Yeah.
But it was very, very eye-opening, because I think, looking back in hindsight, I was very ignorant in the realm of health and wellness and how to take care of my body.
Well, a lot of people are, until they look into it. How do you ever learn? Because you only talk to a GP for 10 minutes about whatever's your problem at that time. And if you don't learn much at school, and then it's all you to have to learn all this stuff. So unless you really got an interest in it, or you're actually studying it, then how would you ever know?
Right. And then, of course, if your GPs are anything like ours, it's all westernized medicine. So they never get into what's the root issue that's causing this for you.
Yeah, here's a pill and we'll fix the symptom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is where we have become a pill-driven society.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So how's that been? So you've mainly been working with women experiencing menopause and...
or people that... I've had a lot of clients that need weight loss or have got health issues. So it really, my age group that I like is, say, 38 to 50, 58.
Yeah.
And they are going through, we tend to call it menopause, but actually in reality, that's really all the symptoms come in perimenopause. So it can start varying ages for women from their late 30s to their mid to late 50s.
All right. And what about, so with weight loss, so did you experience some weight loss as well?
So I was a yo-yo dieter, so I probably have tried every diet that's out there. Lifetime member of Weight Watchers, did the stupid ones like the cabbage soup diet, all of the fad diets I followed. And of course you lose the weight, but then you put it back on.
Yeah.
So living a healthy lifestyle has really helped me to keep the weight off, to maintain the weight. But what to me has become more important is living that healthy life. If we're obese, we're certainly not healthy with it. And I found it very interesting with people as I've worked with them. They're either all in, or else it can take them a long, long time to kind of figure it out. So I've had some women that have come and they've been all in. They've lost the weight that they needed in and done 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Then other women that I've worked with for 18 months and they're still struggling. I think you've got to have a motivating factor. For me, it was my health. I didn't want to live in poor health. I was tired of having migraines every day. I was tired of not feeling good, having no energy. I'd fall asleep at my desk at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that just didn't change until I changed the way that I ate and my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. And how was menopause for yourself? Like, it was
interesting. Well, it was very interesting for me because I had a hysterectomy when I was 39, but they refused to take my ovaries out. So I kept thinking, well, I'm not really going to go through menopause, but not true. I still went through all the symptoms of menopause or perimenopause. But, I've known some women that totally went Looney Tunes with their mood, the way that they could just go absolutely crazy with their yelling at people and having such a short temper. So there are definite extremes with the way that
Can some women go
it.
through menopause and not even know about it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Is it much like PMS?
To a degree it is, because it's all about the hormone imbalances.
Yeah.
But, our hormones get out of balance. And it's the same with guys when they talk about a guy having a midlife crisis. It's the same thing. The hormones get out of balance. And to a degree, you can balance them with your lifestyle and with the foods that you eat and different things.
Yeah.
For some women, they might only notice some difference for a few months or for a couple of years. For other women, it goes on for years and years.
Really?
Yeah, and it can have some similarities to PMS in the way that the mood swings are.
Yeah. And PMS, is it something, does a woman know that they're, right, today I'm starting menopause, sorry. Like, it's not something where you just know, it's like something that you got to work out.
Don't. And another problem is that you can go to a GP or even your OBGYN and say, I think I'm going through menopause, and their comment is, oh, you're too young, or they will not give you a blood test unless you really push it. So what we've learned over here is that GPs and even a gynecologist isn't always equipped to be able to get deeper into the menopause thing. They don't know how to treat it, so they tend to ignore it. Now, you go to what we call here a functional medicine doctor or a naturopathic doctor, they're more likely to get into the nitty-gritty of it, so they can help you with all of these symptoms, but not necessarily put you on a hormone replacement therapy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
It's a very interesting topic because everybody's so different, and you just don't really get the help in the medical field that women really need.
And do the symptoms of menopause vary greatly?
Yes, they do. For some, it can just you can be really foggy in the brain, be really fatigued. You can have, well, of course, you're still menstruating for the majority of this perimenopausal stage, and so you're dealing with that as well. So you're still dealing with cramps. You're dealing with weight gain, especially in the belly.
So you can go through menopause and still menstruate. So it's not like the day you stop and your period doesn't come, bang, your menopause starts. It's nothing like that.
Right. So you've got like this big window here that's called perimenopause.
Yeah.
Menopause is actually a year to 18 months after your last period.
Yeah.
So people say, oh, I'm in menopause, but they're really not. They're in perimenopause.
Okay,
because once your period's done for a year, then that's it. It's over.
Is perimenopause more stressful than menopause, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's when you're getting all your symptoms, your hot flashes, yeah.
And your body's going hot crazy, you're learning not to make... Yeah, right. And what age does perimenopause start at? Because it varies quite a bit. You can be in your 20s, can't you, even? Some
people can have very rare onset of menopause. Most people, it's really 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
For some, it's in the 30s. I remember before I had my hysterectomy asking my doctor, am I in menopause? And he said, absolutely not. But see, I had female issues, so I don't really know if I was or not because they never tested my hormones. And then, of course, if you have a hysterectomy, you go through this sudden change in your whole body. But because I'd got my ovaries, then I still had to go through all this perimenopause still.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. And then
aren't you glad that you're a guy and not a woman?
Yeah. Can guys get any type of form of it or anything?
They do. So I think that's where they'll often say with men, they're going through a midlife crisis. men's testosterone levels drop a lot.
So when they shoot real low suddenly, I guess that's the same thing as what happens with you. And it's where your body's like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah. And it's not just the testosterone, because you've got quite a few hormones that come into play there. For women, their estrogen levels change. You've got your progesterone, you've got your cortisol. So, you can be more stressed during this time. So men do go through it to a degree, but it's just not the same.
Yeah. Well, that's fair enough then. And with the people that you're coaching, how do they get on to you? Like, because now obviously last 2 years have been lockdown, new world. Yeah. So
a lot of people find me actually through Google.
Yeah.
Which is always very interesting to me, because I haven't really done anything
on your website
to make my presence that well known. I have a very active website. I have a very active online presence.
Mm-hmm.
So people find me through my groups, by referrals still.
Yeah. So what type of things would they be searching on Google to find you?
Very seldom do they search for a health coach, because a lot of people don't even know what a health coach is.
Because I was going to say, this health coach thing, it's not something that's really been around forever, like a doctor or something.
Right. They might search for a life coach, because people are more familiar with life coaching than they are health coaching. But they might even be...
People search for life coaches?
Yes, they do.
I thought life coaches are just I'm a life coach, and then they try to strangle their circle of friends into tutoring on or something, because I would never go to one in a million years. I wouldn't even know.
Right. Well, life coaches are supposed to also be certified to be able to work, just like health coaches are.
Yeah, right.
You go to life coaching school.
That's crazy.
But yeah, you're right. A lot of people just put themselves out there. Oh, I'm a health coach. I'm a life coach, without any schooling or any education. But a lot of people will search for natural ways to get healthy, or natural ways to lose weight, or just even weight loss. I know I come up as a weight loss center. So if people were searching for somebody to help me with midlife issues, I'd probably come up on a search.
Yeah.
So there's various things that they could search.
Does anyone search out for like a menopause coach or anything like that?
Yes.
Really?
They do.
Uh-huh. Is that a term, menopause coach?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I actually call myself a midlife coach sometimes.
Okay.
So they would search for midlife help.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Well, I'm just, like I said, I'm not at that age where I need to have a midlife coach or whatever, but it's interesting because I guess when you're midlife and your body does break down, such as menopause or with guys, I guess, that do. What is a guy's midlife crisis?
I think it's more of a whole emotional thing. I mean, you hear about these guys that have a midlife crisis and they go out and they have affairs or they kind of flip their lid. But I think it's...
And is this a common thing that happens?
It's not talked about it very much. People don't seem to... But then again...
What guy who just got divorced from their mother of a missus that they hated for 20 years... and goes out and buys his cool car and gets his cool apartment would say to you, hey, I need help? I don't think so. They're getting all the help they want.
No, and I think the thing is that most of us would look at the outside and just say about that guy, oh, he's going through a midlife crisis.
Yeah, but he's having the time of his life, getting those quick little... short-lasting boosts of happiness, you know what I mean, or whatever it appears to be. But some of them are miserable, I guess, and some of them, I don't know, they end up living like that forever, don't they?
Yeah.
But they're not going to come looking for help,
Probably not.
Unless they've had a midlife crisis and I guess they're not winning, like the traditional midlife crisis that I just explained,
Right.
Then they have
what
depression.
Happens with Right. So they'll start searching then because they might have all this weight gain, or they don't feel well, or they'll start with diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol. And then they might start searching for somebody to help them with those issues.
Yeah.
And I still come up in those searches. I have a lot of men that call me for some very odd things. I've had guys call me to ask me if I help them with prostate issues. I'm like, no, I think you probably need to go see a physician for that.
Yeah. Yeah, erectile dysfunction.
Yeah. Yeah, not going there. I'm not helping them.
No, fair enough. All right. So, do you work with like blood tests or anything?
I am able to work. I can send people for lab tests, but I am supposed to get help with reading those lab results.
Yeah.
So it's a very sticky thing in the health coaching realm because
I guess you can.
Words.
You'll say, yeah, you should go and get this test, and this test, but just follow up with your GP on those results.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or some of us as health coaches can build up a good rapport with some of their general practitioners, and then they'll talk to us about, well, these are the test results, this is where they need help.
Yeah.
But I can order independent lab tests.
Yeah. Okay.
For people.
Yeah. But you're just not.
I happen to be very lucky because my daughter's a nurse practitioner, so I've got a little bit of help for me.
Oh, yeah.
In that area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, it's good that you can order these tests, and like I said, if there is something that the patient or your client is concerned about, they can always, at least they got the test, and they can go then look for answers there through someone that
we always have. Yes, always the disclaimer of I am not a physician, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist. You should consult your physician if you've got questions. Or
but that doesn't at all mean that you can't help them one bit. It just means you've got to stay there.
Yeah, I have to stay in my parameters.
Yeah, no, that's cool. All right, so Lynne, where can people find you? And you deal with customers all around the world? I
do.
Yeah. What other countries have you worked with?
Well, of course, England, Australia, couple in New Zealand,
Canada,
and of course Canada. I've got a lot of people that I work with in Canada.
Yeah, right.
I kind of don't think of that as a foreign country anymore, I guess. Because
that's more different than ever before, you know.
It's yeah. Well,
I used to think they're the same thing until what happened in January or whatever. That was crazy. I got a friend there. He can't leave. He's going through a midlife crisis, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, their lockdown is just crazy. It's worse than Australia's was, because I know that you've come out of lockdown now.
Yeah. Do you have anyone saying that the lockdowns are affecting them or anything, like this whole recent world?
Yes.
Florida just sailed through it, just like.
Well, that's our governor. He took down a lot of the restrictions, and it did not go unnoticed. A lot of the public did not appreciate it.
Oh, really?
But a lot of what he did, it's been proven that. So he stopped a lot of the mask mandates, but now the CDC is really saying they're not helping that much.
What's not helping?
The masks.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
So, yeah. So,
So do they apologize to him?
No. They either love him or they hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've noticed that. But no, it's good, and I wish we had more stuff like that over here, because anyway, it looks like we're getting out of it, so everyone will be happy again. So, yeah, basically people can find you on your website, holistic-healthandwellness.com, and what do they type into Facebook?
In Facebook, it would be Holistic Health and Wellness LLC, all one word, all written out.
Yeah.
And then I do have a group for women called the Energized Healthy Women's Club.
Yeah. Okay. Well. And that's full of women wanting to stay healthy.
Healthy, yep.
All right, cool. And you got your own podcast there going as well?
I do, yep. Coming up on my 100th episode this month, or well, in May.
Yeah. Okay, and how long have you been doing that for?
A year, almost a year and a half.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, you've had some 100 episodes, and you had a lot of guests on there that are quite...
Yes.
That must get quite a following, because that's a pretty impressive podcast list there with all the female guests that I guess would be all health professionals nearly.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Yes.
And so you got quite a few listeners on that, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love doing that.
All right, good. Well, yeah, this is a good little introduction to someone who wants to know about Lynne. When did you come to America? How old were you?
Oh, my gosh. I met my husband, who was in the military in the U.S. Air Force, and we came back to the States 30-some years ago, but then we went back to England for another 4 years. So I've been here in Florida for 30-plus years. My husband's a Floridian.
Yeah.
So now I've been here so long, love to go home and visit, but I would not like to live back in England again.
You wouldn't? No.
I'm too spoiled over here.
Too cold for you?
It's definitely too cold. Yeah.
Yeah. Florida doesn't get too cold, does it?
We get down into the 20s in the winter,
okay.
Fahrenheit, and we've had a longer spring cold than we usually do. So it sounds funny because people that are used to cold weather say that's not cold, but we'd sit out on our back porch in the 50s, even up to a week or so ago, and it feels different. So 50 in England, I can go over there and feel pretty good. 50 over here, and I'm about freezing to death.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, the summer's coming, so you'll love that.
Yeah.
Then the storms come.
That's true. They start in a month.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, hopefully you get through that. All right then, Lynne. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on
Brandon.
today. And, I'll put this up. All the links to Lynne's Facebook and website will be on the notes as well, so people can come along and have a look.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Bye.
Bye.